Hey, I know we need to fix up the forge, but before we do, I'd like to talk to you about something.
Sure. What's up?
I owe you an apology.
What for?
I've been a little cold since you've arrived, and I should have been more welcoming. I was just under a lot of stress with everything that happened.
You mean when we ran for our lives from a death cloud into a lost land?
Yeah, that. And losing supplies, and Aurea getting injured, and then having a point takeover who...
Lacks experience.
At the time, that's what it seemed like. But ever since we arrived, you've been more than proving yourself. You made finding food and water a top priority. That's when I realized our Weaver band is in good hands. I underestimated you when I shouldn't have, and frankly, I was a jerk about it.
It's okay, Cass.
No, it's not. I really am sorry. I hope we can have a better relationship moving forward.
Thanks. That means a lot. Let's just start fresh, okay?
I'd love that.
You know, when talking to Lane, they mentioned that you actually trained to become Point yourself. I was wondering if that had something to do with why we weren't getting along.
Oh, no. Being Point just... wasn't for me. That's all.
How are you feeling now that we're starting to get settled?
If this is settled, I'd hate to see us scrambling. I have a hard time letting my guard down when there are so many unknowns. We're still missing supplies and our campsite isn't half what it should be. Can't see myself relaxing and smelling the roses anytime soon.
The role of Point seemed really serious to you. Can I ask why that is?
Because it is serious. If you screw up, we all die.
That seems... extreme.
Think of it this way. Let's say we're low on food in the desert. If you scout 3 leagues in the wrong direction, we're all 3 leagues further away from food we need to survive.
Right. I guess I see what you mean. Still sounds like an extenuating circumstance, though.
And being the first to enter the Enclave in almost half a century isn't an extenuating circumstance.
Point taken, I suppose. So, I know Sola mentioned improvements to her forge meant being able to hone my sword. What does that entail exactly?
Unfortunately, the missing supplies I mentioned.
Is there a way I can help you restock?
Right now, we reserve the materials you bring back for your armors and weapons, because that's the priority. But if there's anything you can spare, I can repurpose them into supplies for our campsite.
Sounds simple enough.
Glad to hear it. Aurea, it's Lane, by the way.
What's that?
They don't like to be called Lane Free. I heard you saying it to Bryn earlier. That's the name their parents chose. Lane is the name they chose.
Fair enough. Didn't realise. Thank you for letting me know. Lane. Not Lane Free, but Lane.
Did you see the size of that mine entrance? Amazing, isn't it?
You mean the one behind that huge deactivated arc?
That's the one. Given the size of the entrance, I can only imagine how huge the mine must have been. Their yields must have been incredible.
I've heard the rich resources are a big part of why Weavers first settled this area.
The land's hostile, but they knew it was worth the risk. Ores from the Enclave are high grade, very pure.
Solar, this plan to repurpose carapace to fix the loom gate's conduit? Pure elegance.
Sarah's idea. I only helped him with the design.
Oh, you did more than...
Two wonders of enchanting, an ark and loom gates. We can touch them, smell them if we want. And they don't work. Maddening.
Did you
Did I what?
smell the loom gate?
A little, but that's beside the point. But mossy, hints of sage, a subtle yet full-bodied undertone of dirt.
Amazing. Well, now we just need to get it working.
Oh yes, should our plan succeed.
And if not?
Then it is time for Plan B, which I have not yet thought up, but I'm sure we won't need.
These are a great start. With the supplies we've got already, we could shape up our campsite. We lost a lot of stuff when we were running for our lives, and frankly, our setup is only half of what it should be. But we can rebuild.
What do you have in mind?
Like we discussed, Sola could forge better weapons with improvements to her smithy. Like honing your sword so it can cut through arc armor. Alternatively, Dom could certainly care better for our mantles with new tools for weaving. And to keep you in fighting form, having Lane's alchemical tools in top form is invaluable. There's no end to the improvements we could make around here. And everyone's lives would be safer for it.
What about you?
Me? Oh, I don't need anything.
Come on, there must be something.
I mean, would new shelves be nice? Sure. I also have some ideas for your supply pouches. But don't worry about me. I'm fine. Right now, improving Sola's forge is more important.
Kaz, don't be shy. If it's shelves you want, it's shells you'll get. We'll organize the crap out of this place in no time.
No, I don't need them. I mean, it would be nice, but I'm fine.
Come on, say it with me. I deserve new shelves.
No.
Yeah, I thought that was a stretch too. Don't worry, we'll make some improvements around here.
Thanks, Bren. Sola is delighted with the improvements to her forge. She can refine your sword as soon as you'd like. Great work, Bryn.
Turns out we make a pretty good team. This campsite will be top of the line in no time.
Yeah. We're definitely going to need to start directing a water flow to the camp. Maybe even install a fountain in the back. Would help to get a garden going in here too. Fruits, vegetables, medicinal herbs. Oh, that reminds me, we'll need the... What?
Do you ever take a break? You know, to enjoy a job well done?
Sure. Sometimes. Once there are fewer fires to put out, I'll relax. I swear.
Just try to remember, it's not the end of the world if you take a break. Someone will step in to help lighten your load.
It doesn't always feel like the others realize how much needs to get done.
Then tell them. Like how you told me we needed supplies. I stepped in to help, didn't I?
You did. I see your point.
The others will do the same.
Maybe. I'd better get back to work, but this was nice.
I knew he'd recover. We always do. Still feels nice to have my core tools back this quickly.
Still a long way to go, but we'll get there.
Speaking of, I've something for you. We've been scavenging around the way station and reclaimed a fair amount of useful materials. They're stored away and ready for you. Should be enough to reforge your sword as we discussed.
What should I expect from a reforged sword?
It depends on the materials we use. Some hold edge better, making your swipes that much more deadly. Others make your gear lighter, or, for something like armor, change the way it handles heat and cold.
Can you also reforge armor? Improve my bow?
Sure can. Weapons or armor, we can rework them with different materials as you prefer.
What's the key difference between reforging my gear and just making something new?
If you want gear that does something fundamentally different, make something new. For instance, there are fabrics, metals, leathers, and so on that are highly resistant to heat. A suit of armor made of a combination of those would have been incredible against the Drake you faced in the Vale's shadow. If you don't need something additional, and just want to improve what you already have, that's when you reforge. Keeps the clutter down in the caravan.
Sounds like it's time to make something that can punch through arc armor.
That's the spirit. Don't forget to block. There you go. Not just good as new. Better.
Now that I can cut the carapace free, What's next?
Whenever the band is collaborating on a problem, I'm often the one to create the design, and you'll put it together with me. At least normally they're my designs. Sev actually came up with this one. With carapace and enough metal, I can forge his patch for the leaking conduit.
Any particular metal required?
No, just enough of the same type. Sev and I try to keep our designs flexible to work with whatever we've got in the caravan. Once you have everything we need, we'll forge the patch here.
They are quite the thing, aren't they? Tangles, I mean.
After what it was like outside the Enclave, the ones in here are child's play.
It is an enduring mystery as to why the Veil's shadow is flooded with them. I did not expect that they would be so common inside the Enclave.
Are they common anywhere?
No. They were theoretical until the Veil went up. And then, of course, they became... political.
What exactly are tangles?
To our best understanding, magic is more than just energy. As far as we know, raw magic is a physical substance, but normally invisible. Our mantles gather it from the air as we move, but tangles prove it can concentrate on its own.
What did you mean by political?
The surge was specifically catastrophic towards enchanted equipment. Explosions, out-of-control activations, you name it. And tell me, logically, who were the most likely people to have enchanted items on or around them?
The rich and powerful?
Well done. So, in a single moment, you have what seem to be hundreds of assassinations.
And decades of war followed.
As I said, political.
You said they were theoretical. What did you mean?
Lane and I have been digging. The only research on tangles we could find were thought experiments until the Veil's appearance. As you might expect, that research was done here in the Enclave. Apparently, they did not publish everything they knew.
Thanks, Dom. That helps me understand them better.
Ultimately, the most practical advice I can give is very simple. Don't stand in the murder cloud.
Well pleased with the reforge. There's another option too. We can enhance your gear.
Not the same thing?
No. Enhancing uses more of the same materials from the original construction. I use them to add a bit more protection to your armor, reinforce your blades and such. Worth doing if you have extra materials. I'll be able to do more as we build my smithy's set of tools back up.
Color me delighted that we're starting to restore our capabilities around the camp. When the time comes, I'll work with Casmin to create some new tools here.
Then we can start weaving more intricate strands into my mantle, right?
Yes. You harvest, I'll weave, and we'll have you channeling such magics.
I couldn't help overhear Darm mentioning the surge's impact on the politics of our lands.
You really do pay attention to what happens around here, don't you?
A survival instinct. Growing up in Udea, you realize the walls have ears. If some of those ears aren't yours, you're at a disadvantage. That was actually the problem, you see?
The problem?
After the surge cascaded through the Maida, every kind of long-range magical communication broke down. So you have magical chaos and no way to confirm if your nation is under attack. You assume the worst and retaliate. Udea, my homeland, was hit hard. Our trade fleets had become rather dependent on magical navigation.
And they couldn't find their way home.
Or at least to a safe harbor. You could argue the loss of our fleets was worse than any individual war.
Because the trade network suddenly collapsed. My parents used to talk about shortages during those years. It got rough, they said.
Yes. And the worst wars are fought over resources when people are desperate. I very much hope we can find the true cause of all that suffering. And a way out to share it with the rest of the world after we do. A crafter is only as good as their tools, they say.
Glad we're starting to upgrade the camp, then.
Very much so. There are alchemical formulas I simply can't create for you without the right alembics and specifically treated crucibles. Once I have those, we'll be set. Many of the plants and minerals I'm after are within safe distance of the camp, so I'll be able to gather them myself.
Kaz, what you said about the point roll not being for you. Lane said the training was going well, and then one day, it just stopped. Can I ask why?
Honestly, it was just too much for me. The responsibility that comes with being point. I guess I caved under pressure. Leaping headfirst into danger isn't for everyone. What made you decide to become a point?
The danger.
Of course.
Hey, maybe it's not for you. But growing up in a quiet mining town, I spent my whole life longing for adventure.
And has being point given you what you're looking for?
So far, yeah.
Good. For a long time, I felt like I let Aurea down. She wanted me to continue with the training, but I just couldn't. When she offered to keep me on as a quartermaster, I was surprised. In time, it made sense, though. I always enjoyed the planning of my expeditions, more than the expeditions themselves.
So you've been happier as a quartermaster?
Yes. This is much more my speed. Besides, someone needs to hang it with Arva. Seriously. I'm more than happy to leave the creature wrangling to you.
I'm not sure I have what it takes to pack a caravan anyway.
I've seen how messy your tent is. You most definitely do not. When we've got supplies to spare, I have ideas for improving your pack. If we do it right, you'll be able to bring more resources back. It's all about load distribution.
And shelves.
God, yes.
So, how often do I need to return to camp? Do you need me to report back frequently?
That's entirely up to you. Point's privilege. You're the one taking the risks, so you can gauge how far and how long you can push. From time to time, I or the folks around the camp might have requests, but we'll defer to your priorities. And if you get into trouble, I'll pull you to safety. Might lose some resources, but that's a small price to pay.
Got it. A lot of responsibility.
Points privilege.
Can I ask how you knew to pack up the camp outside the Vale?
The tangles were shifting. They'd been static the entire time. And then, suddenly, just as an arc deflects a wave of Drake's breath, they start to move. That's no coincidence.
How do you know to run to me, then?
The tangles closed down the path the caravan took in. And it wasn't like I was going to abandon you.
I believe I was promised one epic tale on how you discovered the route into the Vale's shadow.
I suppose I did promise you. Rumors of a safe passage into the shadow had been swirling among Weaver circles for the last 5 years. They'd always piqued my interest, but I couldn't get a solid lead on it until 2 years ago. Weavers in a caravan bound for Don Brennig told me they no longer had a point. They'd lost an older Casil fellow who journeyed on the Strand Road before the surge. He insisted on one last big expedition before his retirement. Into the Vale's shadow. It killed him, but they got pretty close.
So you got the route from that caravan?
Not quite. The point that died was the one who led them in. He had the trade roads memorized. But it was confirmation that getting close to the Vale was possible. I spent the next few months chasing leads. Eventually, I was able to trade an Ash Peak Drake's Tooth for a map of the trade roads with a dubious Ashar woman in Tarza.
A drake's tooth?
Some people believe grinding the tooth of a drake into a powder and consuming it could have stimulating properties.
Ah.
Fools. Regardless, between the map and the other leads, I was able to plan the route that led us to the Vale's shadow a fortnight ago. The final missing piece was an apprentice point to take on the expedition with me.
Glad I could help. Thanks for sharing, Aurea.
What's a good adventure if you can't regale someone with the tale later?
dangerous lake.
It's a still. Why not the spirit of flowing water?
You're coming up on the Ark of the Stricken Earth. With a stronger sword, hopefully the carapace will come off easy.
This might take a while.
You'll need to swing harder to cut through armor that thick.
What's happening?
Retrieving the carapace is going to be trickier than we thought.
Is she really ready to fight that thing?
Catch your breath. When you're ready, you can climb the Ark to attack it from different angles. Magic isn't forcing through that patch of skin anymore. Move on. See those discs? Those are holding the armor in place. That's it! Hit the exposed skin with everything you've got.
lose our chance to get the carapace, but you secured it.
Any concerns about using the Archon strand, Dom?
Concerns? None. Excitement? Considerable. We should be able to weave that strand into your mantle bring.
Perfect.
You think this patch will fix the leaking pipe?
Yes. And with the debris cleared, why don't you tell Aria we've got everything we need to fix the loom gate?
Me?
Acting or otherwise, major communication should come from the point.
I'll keep that in mind. The patch is ready, and I've cleared the debris at the loom gate in Glintwood Hollow.
Excellent work, Bryn. Time for you to take a well-earned rest while the band heads into the Hollow.
You sure you don't need me to come?
We've got this. And you need the break.
All right, if you say so. Aurea, how's it going?
Bryn, you're awake. We're making progress over here. Careful with that.
Hey, no one came back to camp, did they? Is the rest of the band still with you?
We're all here. And the leak is just about fixed.
Hey, wait, I just want to talk. That was incredible.
Hey, couldn't have done it without you.
Actually, we couldn't have done it without Sev. I didn't expect you to have such a deft hand with magical conduits.
I'm not... I mean... We just got lucky it held.
Not to distract from the victory, but something happened while you were gone. I saw something. Well, someone.
A Hearthsider?
Maybe. The figure was masked and standing at the edge of the camp. I think they were watching me. Before they disappeared.
How friendly.
If there are people still left in the Enclave, we need to find them. They can tell us what happened here.
Yes. I was just thinking we should Chase down the scary masked figure that likes to watch Bryn sleep.
Since we arrived, we've been speculating about what may have happened after the surge. But no one here knows the truth. Only Hearthsiders could tell us that. I think the truth is worth the risk that they may be hostile.
You're right. We won't find answers standing here.
Friendly or hostile, if there are Hearthsiders, we need to find them.
Agreed.
And the good news is, fixing the Loom Gate didn't just give us easier access to Glintwood. It expanded our scry's reach.
So scries are somehow connected to the Enclave's tapestry?
Every scry was built here.
This means you not only have access to the Loom Gate, but you can safely explore further.
Incidentally, our maps indicate that there is a village beyond the Hollow in a large swathe of wetlands known as Dredger's Mire.
Perhaps we'll find our Hearthsider there. Bryn, why don't you brief with Lane before your next expedition?
Sounds good.
After that, it's time to use the Loom Gate.
Why didn't you guys return using it yourselves?
We needed to take a key swatch back to camp in order to connect the two. We'll make sure you have a key swatch to connect any other loom gates to this one from now on.
Here to brief?
I like to know everything I can before venturing off to a new place.
Just beyond the forested hills of Glintwood Hollow lies the wetlands known as Dredger's Mire. Much like the Hollow, the Enclave prospected many of the raw materials needed for its ambitious constructs and projects from the mire. Oh, it's no coincidence you found the Ark of the Stricken Earth near a collapsed mine. Likely, it was used for the excavation of minerals and metals before the surge. I believe the natural surroundings of the mire were also rich in resources. The Enclave even settled a small village there known as Poldervale.
Which is where I might find that masked figure that was watching me.
It's possible. Regardless, do you have any questions before you head out?
Some of the others didn't seem so sure we should be trying to track down the masked figure. What do you think?
History demands we find them. If the masked figure truly is a Hearthsider, their stories and what they've lived through in here would be invaluable to our understanding of the Enclave and of the Surge.
Sounds like I'd better find them then. Apart from the village, it sounds like this is mostly untamed lands. Any expectation that it will be more dangerous than the Hollow?
I would expect so, yes. We've made camp in a way station that's pretty far from Denevron, and the mire yet even more remote. Everything I've read says the deeper into the outskirts of the Enclave one ventures, the more wild and untamed the lands become.
You're saying my battle with the Great Ark might be looking like child's play soon?
Possibly?
What can you tell me about Poldervale? It seems like it was settled pretty far from their capital.
Indeed. Though, when you take instantaneous travel through loom gates into account, what constitutes a remote village changes. The village was likely settled to facilitate the prospecting of raw materials in the outskirts. Resources farmed here could easily be transported across the Enclave through the use of loom gates.
Thanks for the info, Lane. I think I'm ready to head out.
My pleasure. Oh, wait, I almost forgot. I didn't have the biggest role to play in the loom gates repair. I'm not exactly handy with a hammer. But watching the band work gave me an idea for a new alchemical project. Its working name is a loom shard.
A loom shard?
Yes, it's a shard that could draw magic from a loom gate and bring you back to camp safely, wherever you are.
How is this different from Aurea pulling me back with the scry?
Unaided, Aurea can only summon enough magic to bring you back safely, not all the valuables you might have collected on your expedition. Because this shard draws magic from the tapestry, it can bring you back safely with all you've gathered.
Thanks, Lane.
Bryn, one would think you've been fighting massive constructs your entire life.
It's a newer hobby I've picked up. On account of only having seen one for the first time recently.
Yes, it's quite something to see a massive Archon after studying their role in history for so long.
You seem a little concerned about something.
Oh, no. That Arcs are still functioning in the Enclave is a revelatory discovery. I'm elated, of course.
Very convincing.
It's just, this Archon brings up more questions than it answers. For starters, arcs of this variety tended to carry a slate bar to help break rocks. It was clearly working in the nearby mine. One must wonder whether its tool was lost in a cave-in. It's hard to say, really. Another mystery, there's no record of Archon hostility towards Weavers. Did they turn on their creators after the Surge?
Is this just about the Arcs?
It's about everything. I suspect we're chasing dead ends. None of these leads fill me with any sort of confidence.
Come on. Sola told me you once deciphered a 1,200-year-old Tarzan pictograph that led Aurea to a cache of lost treasures. If anyone can figure this place out, it's you.
Bryn, have you ever built an archive from the ground up without access to records, first-hand accounts, or living witnesses?
Nope. Can't say I have.
That explains your optimism, but thanks for the vote of confidence.
All we can do is put one foot in front of the other. If we're ever going to solve this puzzle, it will only happen piece by piece.
You're right about that. More pieces would help, though. Maybe if you track down other arcs, we might start to understand what's going on with them.
More information about anything trying to kill me is probably a good thing. Though it does mean getting close to the things trying to kill me, which is less good.
Yes, do try not to die in the process, as that would render the information less useful.
I hope I'm not prying by bringing this up, but Darm and Aurea told me about your last band.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like it was pretty rough.
It wasn't great, that's for sure. I mean, I gave up everything I knew to become a weaver. And it only took a couple of weeks for me to realize I had chased the wrong caravan out of town. All that band did was drink and fight. I stuck around, thinking I might be able to make a difference if I became point, but Aaron chose someone else to take his place in the end.
You're in better hands now. I promise. Even though I'm sure your last few days with us have been a lot. Do you have any regrets about leaving?
I did have one friend in the band. Pelagia. She was their enchantress. She was actually the one who convinced Aaron to let me join them. Due to the nature of my departure, I wasn't able to say goodbye. I thought I would send her a letter the next time we stopped in a town.
Then we tumbled through the veil.
Yeah. I don't know what she must think of me.
If she's a true friend, she'll understand.
I hope so. Friends like her are rare.
That's what makes them special.
So, now that I'm done being frigid and unwelcoming.
You were only lukewarm.
Sure. How about an icebreaker? To get to know each other better.
Sounds fun. What have you got?
Simple. If you were a wild animal, what would you be?
Easy. Ash Peak Drake.
Mm-hmm. You fancy yourself majestic enough to inspire legends?
More like I'm fiery and driven.
Fine. I can see that.
And yourself? What animal would you be?
An eastern reef crake.
A crake? Somehow I pictured fewer tentacles and destroyed ships in your wake.
You're thinking of the big ones. An eastern reef crake is pretty small and harmless. But all crakes are misunderstood. They are incredibly intelligent creatures. And they diligently protect their eggs. They actually only attack when their nest is under threat. So yeah, I'd be a crake. Happily living underwater.
Sola seems pretty pleased with the upgrades to her forge. I think she... might want to thank you, Bryn. Ready?
Let's do this.
First trip through the Loom Gate is a success.
That was so awesome!
I'm pulling you. Brace for it.
No, too weak. The only way to strengthen a power is through active harvest.
The Sodden Pass. A fitting name for the road to the wetlands. I've got you.
According to the maps, you're getting close to Dredger's Mire.
Designed for a two-hander. Looks like it was being packed up to ship.
It'll be exciting to work off an Enclave design firsthand.
I know you're excited to explore, but first things first. Use our key swatch with a loom gate in the mire, so that it's easy to return.
Right. I'll check the maps.
Perfect. I can see the connection. We'll be able to come back whenever we'd like.
Without having to trek through all the mud.
The beauty of instantaneous travel. Keys watches are an ingenious system for connecting loom gates together.